Vasco doesn't miss often. He spent 2 years at the range, shooting targets every day until his fingers bled, and many more out in the field putting bolts between eyes. Him and his crossbow have been through a lot, and 2 woodsmen could never be enough to take him down. Don't do anything stupid, he barks at Jander before hopping from the carriage to collect his bolts. They sprung an ambush this time, he thinks to himself, one on each side of the road, attempting to hide in the undergrowth. He walks to the first corpse, plucking his bolt from its chest. When I was with Renisteer and that rat folk, it seemed like they just stumbled onto us. Odd. Are they learning? Or does their intelligence and tactics vary? His train of thought ends there after collecting his second and final bolt. Doesn't matter much to Vasco. He hasn't been hired to care, and he'll be out of these woods soon. The same can't be said for our party. After escorting Prykus back to town with no issues, they set about finding more work and making more connections. While heading to the assembly hall, Eamon and Phosphorus were stopped by Tajima, a high-ranking guard, where she questioned Eamon on his magic. After assuring him she meant no harm and simply wanted information, he showed her his magic. The next morning, Renisteer and Phosphorus headed to the Farmers Guild, where they met Suchi Eroy. The party was hired by the businessman to look into missing crops in the fields west of Koi. After a morning spent out by the graveyard showing Yinhe's magic, Eamon had resolved himself to camp out until his curse effects passed. One misleading conversation later, and we cut to Renisteer and Phosphorus stumbling upon what they think is a post-coitus Eamon. As you guys walk out and you pass the graveyards and look out, maybe 20 feet off the road, you see...
There's a tent, too.
A tent, yep.
That's like billowing.
Yeah. And you see there's a weird amount of movement from inside of it.
Just so you know, I am in there barefoot with my shirt off. My clothes were just blowing around too much and they were soaked, so I hung my clothes up in a tree.
What an absolute setup for a misunderstanding this is.
So you see my poncho and clothes hung up in a tree branch near the tent.
You know, Phosphorus, I'm not that physical of a person, but is it odd for you that they did this in a graveyard as well?
Well, next to a graveyard, adjacent to a graveyard.
I don't know. I'm like 6, man.
Eamon,
that is a fair point.
You think you hear Renisteer and Phosphorus talking some ways away?
You just see my head with my like sort of like gray white hair like tied up in a bun, like stick out of the tent flap. I clearly don't have a shirt on.
There he is. There's the boy.
Are you still busy in there?
I'm not.
You got your pants on still?
I step out, zip my pants up. What are you talking about?
Oh, it's okay. We all get a little shy about this. I've never had sex before. We all get a little shy about this.
I'm carrying my boots out.
You and the plant lady, huh?
Probably
no. God, no.
Probably due to you guys assuming you're walking in on a post-coitus Eamon. You don't fully internalize, especially because it's raining, that he has like a very light storm whipping around him. Neither of you really notice that.
Hasn't it been like 10 minutes though, so it's just the lesser.
That's why you have a chance to not notice it, which neither of you did.
Yeah, so my hair's tied up, so it's not like blown around much anymore. I'm just
like really has no loose clothing for it to be easily blown about either.
We heard you two got a little busy.
That's not what happened.
She was saying that you guys had sex.
Looking back on it now, I should have been a little more clear to her about...
I've heard this. It is after the seed has been spilled, your mind is much more clairvoyant to this. I have heard of this phenomenon.
No, Renisteer, I promise you, while she is a very kind, beautiful lady, I simply talked to her right here to tell her what I...
just want to keep it casual. I understand.
To tell her what I told you two last night, and to also show her the extent of my magical abilities. Show her the extent of my pipe.
I know we've talked about this before, but this is the most two-side character stumbling upon the main character thing I've ever that has happened so far in this campaign.
Absolutely.
You're the two comedic relief up. They're like, oh, a boy had sex, and you're like, no, I was just doing magic.
Well, we absolutely believe her.
This is literally a routine.
No, I told her not to tell anyone what we were doing.
There's no shame in it, lad.
Because of the magic.
It's natural.
I was performing magic. I was.
Yeah, you were.
You were.
No, I was.
Yeah. You guys start to realize you might have misunderstood things. Or at least you kind of pieced together that she lied
Second base,
thinking
okay?
you guys didn't know.
So you guys were fucking by the tree?
You think whatever you want to think.
Yeah.
It's just not what it looks like. That's not my intention.
I don't know.
I like to get to know someone a bit first.
So you jumped the gun on this one.
I don't. I just like open the
Regardless of
tent
your
flap and I'm like putting my shirt back on.
regardless of your research and carnal needs, we have a job that we can get done today.
So I'm like pulling on my poncho. Actually, I don't pull my
Is
poncho.
it flapping
I'm just, like,
around?
I'm just like, I grab my clothes and as I look at them and I see them just getting, I hung them up to dry in the rain. So I'm just like,
Yeah, Phosphorus.
I put my clothes
Register,
on.
you're a little too deep in thought and like piecing through everything that has just been thrown at
Just
you.
imagining me naked.
Did he sex or no
But
sex?
Phosphorus, you see a very clear, almost like 5 foot in any direction dome where the rain doesn't just, as it gets close to Eamon, shifts to almost like spin a little bit to the left before it lands. And you realize he's kind of surrounded by a small dome of light wind.
I'd like to basically walk around him and like see just the extent of this.
Yeah.
Dude, as I see him walking around, like, there's nothing to see. I'm fine. It's not.
Why is the weather changing?
As he points
Right
this
near
out,
you.
you notice
Yeah.
it, Register.
Oh, that's a good point. Is this part of your magic?
I pull my poncho off the branch and I throw it to Renistir. I say, all right, hold it out, like away from me. It just like sits still.
Oh.
And then I'm like, now throw it to me. I hold it in my hand. It's just like blowing
Yeah.
next to me. I'm like, yeah,
What is this a spell that you are
Not-
maintaining?
currently no. Do you remember me talking about the part of my abilities that weren't quite so easily controlled?
Not really. I kind of tuned it out. It was magic related.
I recall. I recall.
God damn it.
I recall what you told me.
Well, there's a few of my abilities that tap into a very specific power within me, I suppose. And with it, the stronger it gets, the more consequences there are. I wouldn't be so dramatic as to call it a curse, but that's what it feels like sometimes. Where if I showed her, she was curious about some of the magic that I had because of the specific tribe of full-blood elf that she's from. There are people in there that can cast, maybe not the same magic, but what I thought was going to be similar magic. And she asked if I could show her for the research purposes, just to see if it was similar to her people. And I showed her, and so I tapped into that kind of magic for the first time, intentionally, in a long time. And I kind of forgot about this part that comes with it. This has happened to me many a time, but it does stick around for a long time. So that's why I don't do it very often. If I'm in a town and I'm trying to be discreet, I can't be walking around with this miniature storm following me around.
Is this the extent of it, or can it be
This
worse?
this is as calm as it gets.
So it gets worse.
Much. It can get much worse, yes.
Interesting.
So that's why I hesitate to use
Does
it.
it maintain?
And that's why I was chilling out here in a tent. Is because I was just gonna wait till it went away.
Does it maintain all day if it gets to that extreme extent?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, like it can come down eventually, but the further I dive into it, as far as I know, the more extreme the consequences are. And I mean, if I let's see, okay, yeah, I don't know. I know once I can, the farthest I can sort of retract it and rein it in is to this, but then this sticks around much longer than I would like it to. So I was planning on I should have told you guys where I went, but I kind of forgot about this part of it. So I'm going to be chilling here until this goes away.
Well, we will
Unless
be going.
it gets windy enough where we're going where it doesn't notice.
We are going to a field, so I don't think that it will be much.
If I stand far enough away, I don't think anyone would notice too much.
Yeah, I will tell you this. Unless someone specifically was trying to inspect you or entered the area, since it is not a light rain, but a full rain, it's not heavy quite yet, and it's not storming, but just because it is such a rainy environment, there's basically, I won't have anyone roll unless they're specifically inspecting you or they enter the area of it.
If you see anyone inspect me, Phosphorus, bomb them immediately.
Of course.
Thank you. So what's in this field?
What a horrible precedent that is to set.
I just got the green light.
So what's in this field?
But something has been stealing rice.
Yes. We have
And
to.
we're going to put our bombing
We're going to bomb the field.
flail
We can do
and
more than that,
advice
my friend.
towards stolen rice.
We're going to investigate.
We have to go talk to someone
Cat.
by the name of Cat.
Are they paying?
Yes.
Yes, 12 gold.
10
in
gold.
total. 12 gold in total.
I see what you did there. You get a smaller cut because you're with him. I see what you're doing. You're way ahead of the game.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I mean, yeah, as gold's involved, should be. I mean, a rice thief feels relatively harmless.
Hopefully, I don't
Yeah.
have. I mean, if I have to shield bash somebody, I will. But
Yeah. So you guys head.
Towards the field.
Okay. Do you go around the city wall or do you go through the city?
I mean, let's
around the city.
Yeah, around the city wall.
Okay.
not
yeah.
give him a reason.
And I don't get my focus spells back till after a long rest, right?
Sorry.
Or when I bring it down, do I gain a focus spell
You
back?
get one focus
That's what I
point
thought.
back, yeah. So you are now at 1 of 2.
You kind of burned a lot of
what I
stuff,
thought.
didn't you?
Everything I did besides those two were cantrips.
You guys make your way about an hour out of town for the first time going past and through the rice fields. They look, if you've ever seen a rice field before, pretty similar. There's a lot of water in them, and there are a bunch of people in rice hats kind of tending to them. It's not quite to the point where anything is getting harvested. It's just general weeding and tending and all of that jazz. There are every so often a guard. Maybe every other guard you see is on a strider, one of the big lizards, just out there in case something happens patrolling. And after about an hour of movement, you take one of the offshoot roads south a bit, and you eventually find the field you're looking for. And probably the woman you're looking for. She's wearing a rice hat, young human, incredibly tan, very clearly a laborer's body, does physical work for a living. She says something as you guys approach. She notices you all and says something to the man next to her as they're kind of bent down tending rice, and then she gets up and makes her way over to you three. She takes a rag that was tucked in to her waistband and kind of cleans her hands and lifts up her rice hat a bit. And she says, howdy, can I help you, gentlemen?
Yes, we were sent here on a mission to inspect some potential products gone missing, and we heard that you might have some information that would be able to guide us in the right direction.
I'll hand over the paper.
I'm going to stand back like 10
Okay.
feet, 15
Okay,
feet.
yeah. Yeah.
Pretend I'm like looking around like a guard. Or
Okay.
like,
Yeah, just on guard. Yeah.
yeah, my shield and mace looking
Absolutely.
as tough as I can be.
Um, Yeah, I've had a couple stalks of rice go missing every night for the past 4 or 5 days now, half a week.
How many stocks?
In total, probably around 10.
10?
How big's the field?
But 10 is not a lot. 10 is like
I know, I was joking.
a 20th of a row. And there are like a lot of rows in one field. It is a very small amount of rice.
Is it uncommon for stocks to just die or something like that?
Every so often we do lose some from wildlife, but these... it's better if I just show you.
Okay.
And she motions for you guys to follow, and she walks you towards the south end of the field, just kind of in the middle of one of the rows. As you guys walk, you do have to walk through the field, so she motions super simply just to walk in between the rows of rice. Just don't trample the rice. And you get to an area where there are very clearly stalks of rice cut. And she kind of kneels down and motions. I guess you're not getting close, but you two. And she says, I don't really know what's taking it, but whatever it is isn't good at it. And she motions and shows how it's not really a clean cut at all. It looks like whatever it or the thing or whatever is using to cut it is like having to do it a lot, and it's not meant to like harvest anything. And she says, yeah, it's getting to the point where I might have to stay up late myself and watch the field, just because 10 ain't a lot, but it's happening consistently. But yeah.
Can I take a look to see if I can try to figure out what cut it? Whether it's actual tool or if it's like a claw or if it's...
Yeah, why don't you roll a crafting check?
Nat 20 for a 26.
Hot damn.
Carnation.
Well, my God.
Phosphorus used to be a rice farmer back in the day.
Yeah, it's
3 years ago.
definitely. It looks like the cut of a blade, but specifically, you can't really tell. There's 2 options. I know you technically get a critical success, but there's just no way you could tell from this. But these are the 2 options. It is either a blade meant to harvest, but whatever is using it is doing it is not like skilled at harvesting, or it is a blade that is just not meant to harvest. From the looks of it, that second one seems more likely, just because anything that has done this 10 times, it doesn't look like it's gotten better at all. So, yeah, it's kind of what you're looking at.
Is there any sort of pattern to which stocks go missing?
She just like points to, they're all in a row.
Yes, but I mean, is it... So wait, it's 10 every night, and then...
It's 2 every night.
And 10 in total.
Yes, happened 5 nights.
So what could you even do with 2 stalks of rice? Like what? Why such a heavy price for this? I mean, gold's not easy to come by. And we're being compensated pretty fairly for this. So I'm just curious why the...
Suchi hired you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's let's just say he's particular about his product.
Okay. Have you ever had this happen before?
I mean, we had nothing like this. Every so
I
often,
stop talking, so I'm just not like audibly yelling from 15 feet away.
every so often we have some of the fields get not ransacked isn't the word, but we lose a bit of crop due to wild animals. But it's normally not cut like this.
Okay.
It's a bit odd.
How close are we to the like city population here?
About an hour out of town.
So it's not like ruffian teenagers stealing rice to go
No.
snort it in the back. Or okay.
Is there too many tracks on the ground to really track?
Wait, what'd you say?
Is there too many tracks on the ground to actually like identify one?
You
That's
can try to look
underwater,
around.
isn't it?
Sure.
Huh?
Isn't like a lot of the rice field like in water?
Yeah, but it is
There are the little
one
like
of the
raised tracks in
southmost
between,
fields.
right? Okay.
Yes, and it is one of the southmost fields. So everything under this, it like goes into forest under this. There's a slight path for people to walk alongside it, but then it's just forest. Do all of you want to look around?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
You say that because I got a terrible roll.
I'm just asking so I'd know whether to click everybody. Yeah, you guys do a quick look around, and Eamon, you find what appear to be. You don't really find any tracks, but you see disturbed foliage as if there is a path of something quite small, a little like decently. You wouldn't quite call it tiny, but definitely a substantial size smaller than Phosphorus. Made its way through the undergrowth, like into the forest to the south.
Neen was here.
And he's back for rice.
But you, the rest of you, do not find anything.
I just kind of want to. I guess Phosphorus is not really talking to her as much, so I just want to be like Phosphorus. I like nod my head over and like nod towards
Kat
it.
turns to you, Renister, and she says, "If you need anything, let me know. But I'm gonna get back to."
Certainly, and if you think of anything that could aid in our investigation, just let me know.
I will. And she goes back to the
I will
tin in
nod
the
and
field.
turn over.
I don't
See
want to
what they're
stand
up
too
to?
close if there's tracks and stuff. Some like the storm around me doesn't like whisk them away.
Look at this
Yeah,
track.
yeah.
So I'm just gonna like point to it. Like I think there might be some small tracks there.
Why don't both of you
Bit of a
make
path.
a survival check to like see if now that you are aware that there is a path, see if you can find any concrete tracks.
Survival.
You can make one too, Eamon. I guess Renister you can too as you get close. Yeah, survival.
17.
14.
Let's just say I didn't. 2.
Okay. Renister and Phosphorus, you do find 2 sets of footprints. At first, it looks like one, but you do find every so often the additional print that would alert that 2 things walked single file. They just followed the same area, and they look like bare, roughly humanoid feet with 3 toes per foot. But since they're not super recent and it's been raining all day, you can't really get any identification of whether, like, there's claws or anything, but the size seems to match up with the disturbing of the undergrowth. They're probably about a foot shorter than Phosphorus, so around 2 feet tall, these things.
Well, that would make sense why they don't need to steal that much. They appear to be quite small in size.
Everyone who looks at the tracks can roll a nature check.
Sorry,
CC
not
checks.
going to be too much help here, boys.
12. Not a very big nature boy.
Eamon got a 5.
I got a 15.
Yeah, just seeing the tracks, it doesn't spark anything of any thoughts of what this might be in any way.
We need a ranger.
Even taking into account the additional information of like what they're doing, but yeah.
Should we follow this, or
Let's
do you
do
think we
follow-
should just wait by the row and see if something comes by, lay a bit of a trap?
It's going to come at night, so we might as well follow during the day.
Yes, if we have a path, we might as well follow it. But I don't. At least I could be wrong, but I don't think that these things pose much threat to us.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like. How late are the workers here at night? Like, if I just know typical farming hours, is it like would this have ever happened while people are here?
No, it happens specifically. Well, they don't know exactly when it happens, but it definitely doesn't happen while there's workers here. And
So it poses no threat to any people, really. It's mostly just the bottom line of this kind of particular farmer guy who runs it.
yeah,
So, yeah, if you guys want to follow it, I'll stand back a bit so I don't brush up whatever.
Probably for the best.
Yeah.
I will try to follow it as much as I can.
okay. As you guys move through the forest, you follow the tracks south, getting further into the jungle. At around an hour's worth of travel, you come with insight to a kipu tree, still a good 60 feet ahead of all of you. You can see that the tracks lead to the trunk where something appears to have dug under the roots. The entrance, or the whatever has dug under, is not that big. Anyone other than Phosphorus would probably have to try to squeeze into it. All of you except Phosphorus hear very faintly and off from under there. You hear, under this root, you hear a Eamon, you notice two things on top of that. You hear a second, basically same thing, something snoring or sleeping very softly from within. You know that there are two of these sleeping creatures, whatever they are, and you also see, only you see this in the entrance. It's just thin enough that the way you move through the light catches it for a second, but it looks like there is a large spiderweb-esque, almost invisible, not because through magic, at least it doesn't look like that, but just because it's so thin, the way it's spread out, like covering the entrance. That would definitely hamper entry in some way.
I want to like whisper real quick I don't know if we need to make it like super duper quiet or if there's a roll for that or not.
Yeah,
I'm just going to be like, hey, guys. And as hopefully you guys stop as you hear me say that from the back. And I kind of like, maybe if you guys kind of come towards me, I want to point. I know you guys can see it too, but I just want to say, can you guys hear that? It sounds like
slight snoring, yes.
It sounds like there's a, I don't want to assume too much and say family, but it sounds like there's a small group of something sleeping in there.
I'm going to hold up an alchemist fire. So should we smoke them out?
No. It looks like there's some kind of like spider web thing covering the entrance. I was going to see if Phosphorus, could you maybe like sneak your way up and maybe just peer in and see if you can see anything? It sounds like something's sleeping, so.
No damage.
Can all of you, while you're having this hushed conversation, roll stealth for me? You, Renestier, do not need to take your armor penalty, because this is specifically, it'll
Vocal.
be, because it's basically for you guys to be talking quietly and having this conversation quietly.
Where does it say my penalty for
It'll
that?
be all the way on the right number for the stealth check.
Right.
So whatever your stealth is normally, change it if you were to take away the armor penalty.
Okay, so it'd just be a -1.
Okay, yeah, instead of a -3. Well,
Yes.
that's better than, yeah.
Yeah.
So what'd you get, Amy?
I got an 11.
Okay.
19.
Nat 20. So 19.
Well, okay. That I can't. Jesus Christ. While
Can I follow the expert on this?
Unfortunately, you can't. So, Eamon, you go. Everybody, come here. And they come and you guys have that conversation. And the whole conversation, both of you are kind of like, well, Eamon's talking pretty loud for whispering.
The wind like whipping around my
Yes,
ears. It's kind of like wearing
exactly.
headphones. You feel like you have to talk really loud so you
Yeah.
can't hear yourself.
That's perfect. Yes, and you hear Eamon, your like whisper elf ears perk up, and you hear one of the snoring voices you heard before or things go like from within, and slight movement.
So if I'm going to talk again, do I have to roll again?
No.
Do I just keep the bad roll I have?
Well, basically something woke up, whether it knows you're like there or not, or you just woke it up, whatever. But
I just woke up and I want to dive off into the foliage and try to...
I'm going to scurry up on the roots stealthily.
I will like try to, like very clearly, not very well, hide behind a tree.
My
Like,
second
tail
guess was
sticking
going
out
to be
from the
just to
back.
be like, hello.
yeah, both of Phosphorus and Eamon, why don't you roll stealth?
Do you mean Renister?
Yes, Renister and Eamon, why don't you roll stealth? Phosphorus, you roll stealth with a -2 circumstance penalty.
15.
12.
I am
Okay.
killing it on
I have a
stealth today.
+3 to stealth.
I have a
just roll
negative
like
3.
18.
Okay. All of you. So you just kind of move behind a tree. Thankfully, it's not super hard for you to just do that. You just move out of sight.
It's perfectly
And
lizard
you-
shaped.
Yeah, you move just enough in a way that the rattling of your ivory armor doesn't make too much noise.
Does my curse give me a circumstance penalty? I feel like
no,
it should.
Normally, I would give it if
If it's
what-
like
if you
rustling
weren't-
bushes around me and stuff.
If you weren't in a rainforest and it was raining, because right now the wind is not wild enough to be like whipping at bushes crazily.
Yeah.
If it was second stage, absolutely.
Okay.
But also, there's
just wanted
enough,
to remind you in case
Yeah,
that wasn't.
There's
that was
enough
the thing I was
stuff here
missing.
for you to get out of sight. Unfortunately, you still rolled pretty low.
Yeah.
So,
12.
Phosphorus, as you kind of creep up to this root, you see two beady yellow eyes like peering out through the darkness, and they kind of they do a quick scan. It's evident that they don't catch you at all. They don't stop at where you are. All you see them linger for a bit in an area that you know where Eamon is. You can't really tell to what degree they notice, whether they just notice something was moving there or something like that.
I'm
But
breathing extra loud, just trying to hide.
the eyes disappear. How close do you want to get?
I was going to be like right above the entrance.
Okay, you would notice that as you're making your way there. As you get about 20 feet away, the eyes would disappear into this little hovel or cave. Why don't you roll perception as you get up on top of, try to get up on top of the root.
8.
Yeah, so you get up on top of the root, and you only see this because you're like literally right above it. You guys don't notice this as you're looking. You see two small blue-skinned humanoids, big noses and ears. They're barely 2 feet tall. They are covered in tattered rags, each wielding a crude, what in their hands would be a dagger or a knife, and small little bumps cover their whole body, like boils. And one of them carefully moves the spider web just enough for both of them to slip out into the undergrowth, and they start moving towards where you know Eamon is.
From on top of the tree, can I just point, like just follow them with my finger?
Yeah.
Like as they go out?
Yeah.
Do I see this?
Why don't both of you roll, Renister and Eamon, why don't both of you roll perception with a +4 circumstance bonus?
26.
12.
Yeah, Eamon, you definitely see, you get full glimpses of them in the foliage as they slowly make their way towards you. Renister, you see Phosphorus point, and as you follow his hand, you just like you just don't pick up on what he's doing. You're just like, why is he pointing?
Could I roll diplomacy to try to gracefully step out from the bush and try to talk to these creatures as I know they're coming towards me?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they pretty much know where I am, so I'm just gonna bail. And as I see his arm following, and these creatures definitely moving directly towards me.
Yes, absolutely.
I just want to stand up out of the bush and say, as like, not suddenly, as smoothly as I can, to not try to like alarm them. Be like, "Hello, we're from the rice fields. Just wanted to see if what you might be doing." And as I sort of stumble through this sentence, as they're moving closer to me, I'm just sort of trying to like give time as I'm looking, and they definitely only see me out of my friends.
Yeah, so they speak in a language that only Phosphorus knows.
This is amazing.
And so Phosphorus, you catch this. What this sounds like to you is just like a guttural, very quick worded language.
Yeah.
As one of them pops their head out, like out of a bush, just their head sticking out.
Uh-huh.
And Phosphorus, you hear, "What's wrong with this one? Why is his skin like that?"
Even the jungle animals are racist.
From behind them, I'm going to stand up now on their roots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, "Nothing really wrong with him."
Oh! As it whips its head around, it goes, "Oh, a third one. Cuz, should we eat it? Should we eat the third one?" And then you hear another voice from in the bush go, "I don't know, he's bigger than us."
Phosphorus, what are you saying?
Yeah, he speaks in the same
you
language.
don't understand them?
No, I don't
Oh,
understand.
they're
them.
asking if they should eat you
Me?
and me.
Oh. How
Yeah.
tall are they?
They also know you're here,
Like
Renester.
roughly 2 feet tall.
Third one.
Furred.
Bird.
He said fur, as in
Oh, I
you.
thought you said third.
One of
No.
them says, well, yeah, they don't understand you guys. Never mind.
No. Did they say third or fur?
You, why don't,
Phosphorus would have heard
Because
it.
I understand the language.
yeah. They said furred.
Okay, I wouldn't have said that to Renester. though.
Yes.
They know
Just
you're
gonna
here.
Post up.
Yeah,
Come
but
out,
they know you're
lizard.
here. They go, "Oh, there's another one."
I want to try to, if I would have to roll for this, so this isn't metagaming, that's fine.
Yeah.
I would like, if I can, to try to like assess if they're sort of like animalistic enough where me taking like a ration out of my bag and like
Like assess intelligence level.
like offering a dog a treat.
Yeah.
Because I clearly don't know what they're saying, but I know
Yeah.
they're speaking something.
Why don't as well as all of you
a
see
peace
them
offering
and
of-
exist?
of sorts.
Why don't all of you roll nature check? Phosphorus, you can roll with a +2 circumstance bonus.
21.
Nat 20. 19.
Oh, Jesus.
17.
I'm going to get killed in battle.
You got a, what did you get?
A 21.
Okay, yeah.
natural
All of
19.
you don't know exactly what these things are called, but you do know that often they're referred to as mites, which are basically very low in terms of, specifically in terms of primal energy strength. Fae. They are creatures that normally just delight in causing low levels of mischief and harm, but it's normally like very mean-spirited. Not in a just pure chaotic way, but very much in a like they find pleasure in other things being hurt and like taking things from others. They're normally kept in check just because the things that they can do at their ability level are at best minor nuisances and at worst slight injuries to people. But yeah, you would be aware, all of you would be aware of that knowledge.
I stand a little taller.
Also, running it through, you know that what they're speaking that you guys don't understand is undercommon.
Can I, as
I
I've
roll
kind
that?
of assessed what these are and that they're kind of not like they're mischievous, like in a much more negative way. I'm just gonna walk out from behind the tree, doing the like type of growl that like the lizards do, where it's like deep in the throat.
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like
as I'm trying to offer peace with food.
Also, to answer your question, they might go for the old ration bit, but
Pun.
not in the
I'm
way.
not trying to trick them.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying not in the way an animal would, in like, oh, that's food, I eat that, but in a way of like, these things eat food.
I'm literally saying they're stealing food. So maybe if I give them rations, they'll talk to me more or
Yeah,
like
well, they are-
be more peaceful.
They're probably not super intelligent, but they are of the intelligence of a humanoid,
Yeah.
to answer that question.
Yeah. Okay. So
So not
I want
very
to definitely
bestial.
be getting out like
Okay.
a ration of food
So yeah, why don't you
to show
roll,
them that I mean like
Why don't
I don't mean any harm.
Why don't you roll diplomacy and you roll intimidation,
Okay.
and we'll see.
Since
The
I have-
first
can
contesting
I get
roll.
a situational bonus since I literally came out of nowhere for these two things?
That's fair. Yeah, you can get +2.
You are a giant lizard appearing
were in
from
stealth.
nothing.
Oh, you can have a +1 because you have the ration. Amen.
I got a nat 20, so that would be a 27 in
23.
diplomacy.
Wow, both of you did really well.
Yeah.
So what happens is
So the peace offering and the horrifying lizard.
as soon as you take out this, it's just like a dried strip of meat. The one that's head out, eyes get big, and it starts to just walk towards you, like salivating. The other one that was in the bush that wasn't really in view clocks you, Renisteer, and just bolts. Just full speed takes off in the opposite direction of you. The other one
I wish I had like a lasso
that's
or a net or
approaching
something.
you seems to just be completely oblivious to any of that that happened. And walks him and goes, "Oh yeah, for me,
Did I clock?
for me,
Did I
for me,
So
clock?
funny and small.
for me."
Did I
It-
clock that Phosphorus was speaking their language?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You would clock that.
I just want to be like,
It holds its hand out.
Phosphorus, can you come talk to this thing a bit?
Sure.
Also, tell them to drop their weapons.
I want to hold the piece of meat as he gets close and kind of like
Yeah.
switch and be like, and then be like, and point to
Yeah.
Phosphorus, still having a smile on my face, not like trying to
Yeah.
trick him or trying to be rude, but just as Phosphorus hopefully crawls down the tree to come talk.
Yeah, he gets this thing gets right in front of you,
My
and
large,
it just
my
kind
large
of,
friends want you to drop your weapon.
What?
Drop the knife and you can get the food.
Where'd Kurz go?
he for the first time clocks and looks around and
He started
realizes he thinks-
running.
It's in the hollow tree
What?
in the
Why?
skies.
I don't know.
For the first time he clocks you, he goes,
Oh, I see why. I see why. Do we get food if we drop it?
Yeah.
Are you?
"Yeah, roll. Are you? Roll diplomacy or deception."
Diplomacy.
Okay.
I'm assuming
He's not trying to trick him, right?
I will
give
this
him-
is
I
based off
never
you.
know with Phosphorus, so
Take a bite of this bomb.
I didn't feel the bomb yet.
That poor monkey.
13.
13.
Okay.
Phosphorus, tell him
He-
if they stop stealing rice.
There's one of them here.
Tell him.
He takes the dagger and he plants it in the ground, and then he just holds up his hands to you, and Phosphorus, you hear him go,
Meat.
He wants the meat now.
Ask him if he wants to come with us on future adventures.
No.
Please.
No. I will kill him before that happens.
What is your thing with tiny creatures following you?
I don't know. They just
kind of
kind of.
racist, man.
I think it's because I carry dried meat in my backpack.
Does it make you feel powerful?
No.
To be above them?
Phosphorus, can you ask why they steal rice?
Why won't it give me the meat?
Why do you steal rice? Why do you steal the stalks of rice?
What is that?
The plant you cut with a knife.
Oh. It's not very tasty.
No, it's not.
Oh.
You shouldn't steal anymore.
We know it's tasty. Meat.
He wants the meat. He doesn't like the rice.
Tell him if they stop stealing rice, I'll give him 2.
If you stop taking the rice, he'll give you 2 pieces of meat.
roll diplomacy.
As I take out the second one, does he get a small bonus?
8.
Use your hero card.
No. I'm not using a hero card in this thing.
I guess we always just could step on it and leave.
It's one way.
It goes,
Or at least Rennister
Okay.
Can I?
it's totally lying. Yep.
He
And it holds
agreed,
above
he
the thing.
agreed, but he's full of shit.
I don't know how these things work as far as morals go. Rennister, would you kill
probably
these
don't
things
exist.
for this crime? Or what do you think we should do here?
Would you kill these things?
They are not lethal in manner, more of a nuisance. I don't think that's worth.
I want to tear off a small piece of the meat and like toss it as I'm
It-
talking so he doesn't get
Yeah.
like bored while
It
we're
jumps
talking.
up and catches it in its mouth, and 2 bites.
I think that
Meat. Meat.
As it's like at my leg, I'm just like, hold on.
I think that if they do not see reason, we may have to scare them off a little further. But I think killing them would be a little overkill.
So
It-
we should try more of an intimidation route than trying to convince them.
It starts to try to climb up your leg to like get to the meat.
I just toss the meat to Rennister.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets them. It starts climbing.
I just bite. I just like bite a big piece out of it.
Okay. Why don't you roll intimidation?
So maybe instead just tell them that we'll wipe out them and all they love if they don't
7.
stop stealing.
7.
Yeah.
Why don't all of you roll for initiative? As it goes, you ate my meat.
God damn it.
So as you take a bite of it, it goes first.
Dang it.
And it, as you take a bite of it, it says, "You ate my meat," and there's an angry look that comes across its face, and you see it just basically throw a tantrum, but as it does, just sparkly dust kind of just falls off of its knuckles, and I assume all of you are pretty close to it because you were all just like interacting with it.
Yeah.
So
Not close enough to take any damage, but still pretty close.
why don't all of you roll a will saving throw?
Of course. I've been rolling like crazy, and now it's time for the garbage rolls. 7.
Unnatural 20.
22.
Okay.
It was nice rolling high with you guys while it lasted. We'll see you next time.
You got a 7? Is what you got, Eamon?
But I'm the most kind to it.
You got it, yeah, well. So you are currently under the effects of Bane, and you take a -1 status penalty to attack rolls as long as you are within currently 5 feet of this thing.
Okay.
And then it picks up its dagger, and that's the end of its turn. Eamon.
Can I use the cantrip Electric Arc to strike near it? And I'm trying to figure out what would work best. I don't know the order of things, but I would either like to roll intimidation myself or use that to help intimidate the next person in line
I'll tell you
so
this.
that they can intimidate more. Because my intimidation is not great.
Yeah, well, if you want to just broad intimidate, that would be pretty easy to do with that. However, if you want to get across any specific form of intimidation, like drop your weapon or something, it literally can't understand you, so it'd be better to just do that and hope someone else picks up specifically Phosphorus, where you leave off.
And what are the limitations on what I can say during my turn?
Nothing too crazy, normally just a couple quick sentences. The only exception is for mainly game mechanic reasons, pointing out things in stealth.
Okay, so I'm just going to say, don't kill it, just make sure they don't come back as I strike the ground with Electric Arc. Just want to do it like slightly in front of it.
Yeah.
Slightly near it.
Why don't you roll an attack roll for it? Just to, because you're still like aiming
Technically
at
it's
a
a
spot.
save, but
That's
this,
fair. Yeah,
this
you
cantrip?
can. Yeah, you're correct. Well, still, let's just roll an attack roll still then.
Okay.
Because you're not really targeting anything that could make a save. So just how well you place it.
Not great. That's an 11.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you don't get it as close as you want it to, but you still get the point
Little
across.
bolt of lightning
A
near
bolt
it.
of lightning wells up in his hand and shoots, and just I almost said blood. Mud splatters everywhere.
Don't
And
kill it, just scare him off for good.
It just like covers its face of it, and it's like, ah!
Remember, there's also 2 of them.
And anything else with your last action?
You gonna raise your shield?
I guess.
Just in case.
I guess I'll raise my shield.
You're itching over there, Ernest, aren't you? It's your turn.
I just want to slap it.
Bash its head.
You just like bare
Just
hand
like
slap
right
it
in
across
the
the
like
face.
stomach.
Okay, yeah. So
it a
that
boop.
will be the same plus to hit as you have your claw, right?
Yes.
We can do we'll
It's
do your
a plus
claw.
5. So.
Yeah, yes. So go ahead and do that.
Are you trying to kill this thing or no?
No, that's what
Is there a way to do that in this
yes.
game?
So if you want to do subdue damage,
Yes.
a couple of things you can't do with that. Normally, non-physical damage types can't do subdue damage because if you're running electricity through somebody,
Right.
it's hard to be like, I don't kill him with it.
Right.
Magic also, you can't really subdue with it, even if it does bludgeoning damage, like a torrent of water. You can't really do subdue damage with that. Otherwise, if you are using a weapon that does not have the non-lethal trait, which your hands would, because you're just trying to slap
Open
it.
hand, yeah.
So if you wanted to subdue something with your flail, you would take a -2 to the attack
Right.
roll.
That's why I'm not using
But
it.
yeah. So just +5.
Okay,
Can,
cool.
can I try to subdue with my alchemist fire?
No.
Can you trap it in your potion bottle?
You re-rolling with your card?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nat 20.
Okay. Oh.
Lightning strikes in front of them, then a mighty paw.
Wow.
Big meaty claws.
Yeah. So
Tear its head off.
you shoot the lightning in front of it, and you're like, don't kill it, just scare it off, and Renister just steps forward, plants his foot hard, and swipes across, open palmed, and just smacks it across the face, and it just sees stars and just conks right out.
I told you not to kill it.
That is the end of initiative. There is a moment where all of you think, "Oh shit, did he kill
God,
it?"
he's dead.
I'm like poking at its belly, like seeing if it's moving. Like,
Yeah.
hello.
It's definitely alive, but there's a big welt on its face, and it's just out cold.
Can I immediately start looking around for the other one that ran off?
I'm gonna head towards our hidey hole.
Can I
Treasure.
like pick him up by his little foot and
We
just
can
be
take
like,
him with us.
tell him we have his friend.
He,
Kinda
he
like
dies
wiggling
in
around.
his sleep. I
Just
have,
like
I have
pick-
poison.
Pick him up by his foot and sort of give him a wiggle.
Yeah. I mean, you wiggle him, but he does not.
Like a rag doll?
Yeah, just completely limp. He just hands up. He just wiggles.
Tell him we have his friend Phosphorus.
We have your friend.
I'll tell you
I used the
this.
cantrip stabilize on him.
Yeah, technically he's already stabilized.
I know.
But he will not wake up until an hour passes or someone restores him hit points.
We can take him with us.
Just so you know.
I'm
'cause
using it
he's-
more of like an intimidation
core.
of like we have your friend, like look at him sort of thing.
Saying
Yeah,
to the
he
second
can't hear a
one.
word you're saying.
To
He's
the
out
second
cold.
one.
No,
No, his
Yelling
friend.
to the
Yeah,
wilderness.
His friend.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, his
dude.
friend.
I don't know why that took me so long to get. Wow. Okay. Yes. Duh. Yeah. Why don't you roll intimidation with the +4 circumstance bonus? You roll it. You're aiding him. Yeah, because
okay.
he has to say it because they can't understand you.
Right.
I
Okay.
have to translate.
But you're the one like wiggling it.
I take out my mace and menacingly twirl it.
You said +4.
You get a -8 circumstance bonus. Yeah,
twirling it.
I am
+4,
proficient in
+4
maces,
to your
okay? Light
Intimidation.
maces.
That is unnatural 20.
Okay.
Dude, you're rolling
Roll
like a
with
monster.
a +6. In addition to what you already.
It'll come back to bite me.
Yeah.
This is actually
I'm doing intimidation or what am I
Yeah,
doing?
intimidation.
Renister's
It's
last
minus
section.
2, so +4, so 18.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah,
you see a one of these about 100 feet away. You see movement, and it as it moves forward, it walks with its knife out as it walks close to you. 2 hands holding it up, specifically at you, Renister, and you don't know what it's saying, but Phosphorus, you hear it goes.
Let's go.
Tell them the lizard's going to eat his friend if they keep eating the rice.
The feral lizard next to me is going to devour your friend if you keep stealing the plant.
Okay, we won't steal the plant anymore. Just give me Zask and we'll leave.
And it's best that you guys move on to
Well,
somewhere else.
okay.
I pick up the other one's small knife and begin to flick it up in the air and catch it.
I will.
I don't know what the human is doing. That one's confusing me.
I'm not a human. I'm 50%.
You're close enough to me.
You're
You-
racist only against humans in this game.
Eamon and Renister, you don't understand this thing, so it's kind of hard to get a read on it. You can tell it's definitely scared of at least Renister because it's literally shaking in terms of body language. But
broaden my
Phosphorus,
shoulders.
you can understand it, and it clearly you feel confidence in that it means what it says. That it'll just go.
All right.
It's absolutely terrifying.
Go ahead and hand it to him.
Okay, I take out a ration.
Hand it to him.
I just take out a ration, like,
You're just going to...
like make his like like put it in his like body, just like clutching it.
Okay.
And then just sort of like plop him down in front of his friend.
I think you're going to
Okay.
confuse him now.
The thing moves closer because it was still a good distance away. It just runs up,
Stabs his friend and runs.
Grabs the ration.
stabs its friend and grows in power and is like, finally. No. Puts its dagger in the ground and just like picks him up, a half piggyback ride, half throwing it over his shoulder, and begins to slowly make his way off into the undergrowth, heading away from the fields, from what you know. Not directly away, but southern is where he's
Well,
going.
they got their meat.
Yeah.
In the
Feels like a
roundabout
success to me, boys.
way. I didn't have to hit him that hard.
But yeah,
I
you...
feel bad about that.
Yeah, dude, where did that come from?
It's kind of hard.
Is that the
when
kind
you
of
have-
discipline you do in the order?
Look, I don't normally have to discipline something of such tiny size. That's just a normal hit for me.
That was, I mean, that echoed. Bouncing off the trees. That was.
He had a lot
as-
of girth to him. That was a big echoey sound to him.
As they're talking, I'm just going to walk away and go right into the tree.
Okay, the web is still there.
Yeah, no, because I saw them how they moved it, I want to try to copy that.
Okay, yeah. Make a thievery check with a +4 circumstance bonus because you literally saw them move.
Phosphorus is probably really bad at thievery, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Is it +4?
He's in the straight
Yeah,
and narrow.
+4
so, yeah.
circumstance bonus. Because,
Scared
like
of
you
the
said,
storm.
you literally saw them.
20.
Yeah, so if you would like completely disarm it or just get past it, I don't know why you would want to keep it there, so you'd have to disarm it to go past again. But yeah, you go into a small little just cave den, no bigger than 10 feet in any dimension with the ceiling. Your head almost kind of touches it. By no bigger than 10 feet in any dimension, I mean like into it or width. The ceiling is quite small. Like I said, your head almost rubs against it. There's a small, looks like a little place that someone would like have a fire closer to the entrance so that the smoke could just come out. And there's what looks like a chipped stone bowl in it with a little bit of half-cooked rice to some degree. There is one big mound of leaves that you can assume is probably where they slept. And then there is the far back left of it is just dedicated to, there's just a bunch of spider webs and basically a whole colony of spiders living there. Not like fantasy big spiders, just little normal spiders of all shapes and kinds. And then there are two small rocks, one of them dark black and one of them a more metallic color that someone normally would have to roll, but you would be familiar. This is probably just a normal flint and steel to spark fire.
I'll take the flint and steel.
Okay, yeah. You can write down that you have flint and steel.
As I see Phosphorus,
It's not-
hindquarters sticking out of the tree.
Yeah.
Just gonna be
Yeah,
like, what is he doing?
It is not, nor conventionally, if you were to get flint and steel from like a place, it's very well made and clear, but they clearly just got roughly something that's flint and roughly that's steel that could spark. But yeah.
What is? I'm sorry. What was the guy we got this job from? What was his name?
Suchi.
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 So as I see him like reaching in there, I'm just going to like lean down and say, "Rat, try to find something we can bring back to Suchi to show him that this job has been completed."
I hand the stone with the poorly cooked rice out.
Oh, perfect. And then I'll also go and pick up the knife to kind of show like the poorly chopped down stalks, like the tool that was used for it.
I just want to be keeping a lookout.
And you feel pretty confident that there's nothing, like again, every
The amount
so
of
often,
random things that have jumped out of the woods at me so far,
For sure.
I am never going to feel at ease.
like I say almost every time, there's always some sort of wildlife within that you can hear or within sight. But other than that, no dangerous wildlife and nothing really. You could have, since you were the one most focused out, you could have clearly watched them go. And they just kept moving.
So should we just take these back to that guy and
Yes,
Get our
seems like a job
compensation.
well done to me.
this feels too easy. I don't know what.
Without burning the tree down, is there anything you can do to make sure that their little hidey hole is not usable?
Just cover it in something heavy they can't pick up. Is there a big rock around that maybe I could lift, but they couldn't?
Big
or like
rock
a
would
little
cover the
piece of wood or
entrance?
log
Yeah.
or something.
There's probably some sort of.
That's like kind of a strain
wood.
for me to carry.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, there's going to be these type of hidey holes all over the place. A lot of these are naturally occurring.
This home is foreclosed, and I set it down in the entry.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
After Phosphorus gets out? No, I'm kidding. You go, we don't need you anymore, rat. Yeah.
I will live through this.
And then you
I
guys,
will
Smoke
hunt
coming
you
out of the
down.
top of the tree.
you guys start heading back?
Yeah.
Okay.
What time of day is it by now?
By now, you traveled about an hour, so it's getting to afternoon.
So we should make it back before nightfall.
You will make it back to the city around, since you have to go back to the fields and then the gate, you will make it back there around evening time, so 5 or
Okay.
6.
Cool.
When you get there, Eamon, do you go into town? Because you still have your winds around you. I'm not saying you can't. You were literally specifically going to stay and sleep the night until the stuff went away. You don't have to,
Yeah.
but that's just what you said earlier, so I'm asking.
I'm going to ask you guys, as we're walking by you guys, I mean Phosphorus or Minister, as we're sort of walking back, I'm going to hang back like 10, 15 feet. And be like, okay, can you guys look at me? Can you be honest? How noticeable is this?
You look a little windy.
To answer the question for you guys, because obviously you can't
Cloudy with a
literally
gentle
see
rain.
it, unless if he is in an environment where it's not super easy to tell that there is some wind around him, i.e., it's rainy or he's not like inside where papers are being moved by him, it would be basically no one would notice unless they are inspecting him. However, if he were to go into a place like indoors where there are loose things that are nothing gets moved out of place, but they would ruffle. Like you're inside with no windows open and it's like there's wind. Then someone might just auto behind the scenes roll and might notice. But it's not as he is now, just existing out in the rain. It's super hard to tell.
Do you think I should sleep in my tent tonight? It'll stay until
I
morning.
would just avoid enclosed areas.
like my room to sleep in.
It might be fun if you just beeline it towards your room once we get
Yes.
Could you just open the window for me and I can come up from the outside?
easily
Can-
doable.
Can you climb up?
With me, that might be more noticeable than some wind.
How about the Phosphorus? You open the window.
that, but
So how about you guys just
I can always boost you up.
How about you guys just walk around me and I'm just gonna kind of head right for my room.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Yeah, I will tell you if you move.
I'm not
quickly,
gonna get in bed though because it's just gonna like soak my bed and like make it full of rain.
If you moved quickly through the pub, especially if it's not the busy hours, there'd be a very low chance of anyone noticing.
I'm gonna
If
run in
anything's
really
done.
fast, pretending I have to shit really bad.
Well, there's
And
no the
sprint up the
toilets are
stairs
not
to go
in
shit
the
in my
place
bed.
though. Is the issue.
Send in the cleaning crew. This is a big one.
Yeah,
Got a
he's like,
3119?
I gotta take a shit, and they're like, the outhouse is outside. Where are you going? No.
Not again.
But yeah, you guys make you guys follow the trail back.
Can I roll something to try to cover this up at all? Like hold my clothes tight so they're not blowing around as much.
We'll get to that.
Tie
once
my
you-
hair back.
once you guys get back to the town. Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah.
okay.
So you guys follow the trail you guys took back. You get to the fields.
I would just
fire.
grab one of the like fallen stalks that was like poorly cut, or like the base of it, just to show like the knife and everything. Just so there's no.
cat's still there.
Yes.
If you need to say anything to her or talk to her at all, but you don't have to.
Okay.
You can grab a stalk. She basically gave you free reign as long as you're not, literally fucking with the still intact plants.
We're stealing more rice.
But you can pluck one of those easily. And yeah, you guys get to the gates. There are a lot of people coming and going, namely farmers that are coming in from the fields. So yeah, if you want to like specifically try to be even less noticeable, why don't you roll stealth, Eamon?
yeah, just want to try to like pull my
And
clothes tight around me and tie my hair back.
They're gonna head to the farmers guild, and you're gonna beeline it for your room. Is that what I'm under the?
Yeah, if you guys just
'Cause-
drop by my share of the
I'll
reward to
just
my room.
hand
Of
him.
course.
I'll just hand him 4 gold,
Okay.
and I'll just.
Thank you.
reimburse
Yeah.
myself.
Thank you. I skipped town.
I'm rich, even though I'm about to go repay myself.
Yeah, okay, I'll roll stealth. Did you say a circumstance bonus or no?
No.
Okay.
Just
I thought you said like a
normal.
+4 or something.
Plus
Oh,
10
okay,
maybe?
God.
Plus 27?
I mean, I will tell you the DC is very, very low because you are,
Unnatural 20.
Okay, yeah. You get to the pub and to your room easily. No one even the barkeep, the dwarven man, just kind of like gives a nod as you go to your room. Other than that, nothing.
Can I flick a coin to him to leave some food outside my door?
Yeah, you just want to say on the way back, on the way by.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah. We'll say you flick him a silver, and he'll leave the change there as well. So
Okay, sounds good.
it would cost you 2 copper, is what.
Okay. Sounds
So
good.
lose a silver if you have it.
Throw
I
a
assume you have
handful
a
of
silver.
copper
yeah,
at him.
yeah.
Yeah, and gain 8 copper.
Pelt this dwarven man in the face with coins.
And you will retire for the night?
Yes.
Well, yeah. 'Cause you, anything you do specifically in your room? More journal entries?
I just,
Probably.
as my journal gets like blown around by the wind a little bit,
Yeah.
but it is waterproof.
Uh-huh.
I want to just do some writing.
Word. Okay. You two, Phosphorus and Renisteer. It is super quick to get to the Farmers Guild because it's basically you walk through and then a couple buildings down from to the south to the right of the west gate is just the Farmers Guild. It is there as you saw it in the morning. The door is still propped open. There's no goblin receptionist anymore, though. And Suchi, you hear movement from in his office, and as you walk towards it, he appears to be like gathering his things to leave for the day. And he hears you approach, and he kind of stands up and fixes his clothing, and he says,
Well, looks like we caught you at a good time. We have taken care of your rice problem. It turns out to be something. Thankfully, it was not one of your workers taking advantage of the fields. Turns out it was a pair of mites, which are basically mischievous creatures. Not slightly malicious, not dangerous or lethal by nature, but they were stealing some of your rice shoots and trying to eat them. And I'll show him the knife and the
bowl.
crudely cut stock
and
in
the
the bowl.
half-cooked rice. And
Thankfully, since they were of non-intimidating stature, we were able to convince them to leave. No violence was needed.
Well,
No lethal violence was needed.
there you go.
And they appear to have run off, never to come back.
Thank you. That was far quicker than I could have ever anticipated. Come in. And he goes behind his desk, and you hear him messing with some sort of mechanism, and then a click, and he opens a drawer.
Can I tell if it was like a padlock or if it was a...
Yeah, it's definitely some sort of lock mechanism thing. And he pulls out you hear him ruffling through coins, and he pulls out a pouch, and he kind of spills it out on the table and counts the 12 gold pieces, and then puts them in and hands it to you, Renister.
I will take 8, and I will hand forward to Phosphorus.
While I'm sort of like writing down things in my journal back in my room, can I want to be writing specifically about just sort of the details of what's happening to me currently. This is sort of the first time in a while I've had like this sort of curse happening, kind of a big,
Okay.
this is not something I'm used to
Yes.
by any means, or at least not anymore. And
To give you-
I would like to, if I could, I know I don't know if it would be like a religion check or like just like an arcana thing or not, but I would love to just sort of try to gain some insight on what's happening to me. I know I'm not channeling any magic right now necessarily, like by choice, but there is magical things happening in me as far as what's causing this. So I'd like to just write down things I notice about it. It doesn't have to be, like I said, I'm not literally writing it down.
Why don't you roll nature, and then I will tell you what you physically feel. What you're rolling for is like the magic knowledge of what's happening.
Yeah.
But I can always, you don't have to roll to be like, this is how I feel in this state. Physically, I mean. I'm not telling you emotionally how you feel.
Just try to like
Yeah.
do some meditation like.
Why don't you
insight.
actually roll with a +1 circumstance bonus, because you've literally over the past couple of days been in books about primal magic.
Yeah.
So only +1 because not a lot of it would apply to this case, but it's enough. You got a card.
I know I do. It's a really damn good one though.
Oh, it is, yeah. What a shame.
I can always do this again some other time.
That's fair. What did you get?
It's 6.
Yeah, knowledge-wise, I mean, obviously you're probably more aware of this than me as DM or GM. Sorry,
Copyright.
Yeah. You really don't have that much, if any, of a knowledge base of magic. Most of it is just remembering what magic.
I was mostly just doing a feel, like a body feel.
How you feel is, you know, how I described to you how your magic is, the core of it is your focus stuff, and everything around it is spells that really anyone who is a spellcaster and wields primal magic has access to.
Yes.
For the first time in a while, that core is awake, so to speak. When you call on the other magic and none of your focus spells and your curse isn't active, you're just calling on that outer layer. Now that the inner layer is, like I say, active or awake, so to speak, you feel physically like there's air around you, right? But you get the sense that everything is a little heightened, like specifically your emotions. You will hit higher highs and lower lows in this state, so to speak. So like it would be easier to get angry, easier to get sad, but it would also be easier to be happy or fall in love, or so to speak. Not to an insane degree.
Yeah.
But just like your emotions are a little more, definitely in a magical way, not outside of you just being more on edge because there's wind around you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Other than that, like health-wise, you feel fine.
Yeah. Okay. I just take like general notes on that. I start a small little like section in my notebook, I guess, just sort of writing what I'm feeling and plan to do this as often as I can when this comes up, if this comes up anymore.
Perfect. Yeah. And you guys...
Then I get my food from outside the door.
Yeah, for sure.
And go to bed if it gets late enough.
It's set outside the door, and there's just a quick knock, and like a food change here. Food and change is here. Food change here. Food and change is here. And then footsteps away.
Okay.
And you can get your food and stuff.
Sounds good.
You guys go back to the pub, I assume?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go to Eamon's room.
Okay. Yeah.
Just like knock on the door.
You hear a knock on your door?
1 second, you hear like
Booty
scuffling
call.
around. You're here. Oh.
I tip
hey,
my
Renaster.
armor over my shoulder. No, I'm just kidding.
You're not the person from the Arcane Assembly.
You don't remember her name?
Yin He.
Yeah.
Do have a second.
I just kind of creak open the door as my hair just sort of like flits about in my face again. And I'm like, yeah.
Do you mind if I come in?
Yeah. I sort of like look up and down the hallway. It's this massive like armored lizard standing there.
Yeah, you probably see Phosphorus
come on in.
walk by and go into his room. I don't know.
I'm down drinking at the bar.
Okay, perfect. You don't see that.
I just sort of like, I guess, sit on the edge of my bed, and if there's like a chair and a desk there, I scoot the chair out for you.
I'll like flip it around like youth
Like a
pastor
kind
style.
waiter?
Yeah, youth pastor, just leaning on it. I just wanted to check in on you, and is everything okay? Is these effects weighing on you at all?
Physically, I feel okay. Yeah, I mean, this isn't a totally new thing for me, but it has been a while since I've had this happen. But yeah, if it is going to behave like it has in the past, this should hopefully be gone by the time morning comes around. But yeah, other than just feeling a little unstable as far as my emotions go, feeling a little on edge with this whole thing going on. But yeah, I should be all right. Other than an uncomfortable night of sleep, I don't think anything negative will come of it.
Outside of the obvious, does this after effect have any sort of toll on you outside of stress brought about? Is there anything heightened or anything along those lines that come from this?
I don't know. As far as I've experienced, nothing necessarily would harm me. Sort of the things I'm worried about more is it potentially harming others if it gets strong enough.
I'd probably be jotting some of this down in like my own personal journal. Just not that
With the doctor clipboard.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I would like to put your mind at ease that I'm not jotting this down out of fear of you. I just find it important that I know the strengths and weaknesses of those I work with, and how to best aid you possibly in your times of need, cover for you along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, I know you haven't seen me in action yet with this, and I hold up the light mace, and I'm like, but I'm not a professionally trained soldier by any means. I mean, I'm not bad, but definitely not great. And that skill will not get better as there is more water, rain, wind, noise around my head. That will probably take a hit. But other than that, I mean, like I said, just try to, I don't know, steer clear, I guess, unless you can talk to me through it. Like I said, I haven't had it a whole lot worse than this super often, but...
What is the worst that it gets to? I've only seen somewhat more advanced stage, but not the worst that it can get.
I've unintentionally harmed people with it before. Killed people even.
Jot that down.
Yeah,
Two big underlines.
turn into the cops. Yeah, it has taken life before. Yeah. Well, last time it happened actually was when I was making my way through the jungle trying to find this place, getting hopelessly lost and slightly injured and diseased and exhausted and dehydrated along the way. And yeah, I was attacked by some creatures from the jungle. And yeah, I think just the fear in me and the exhaustion and just everything I was dealing with at the time just kind of exploded all in one. And yeah, the last thing I kind of saw before I went down was vicious storm kind of tearing those creatures apart. And I think it was from me. It wasn't anything I chose to do, but that was so intense that I blacked out. And then as far as what happened in between that and me waking up in a field, I don't know. But that was only because I was literally on death's door. So don't think that should happen anytime soon if I stay away from that door, but I can't really make any guarantees. I know very little about this as far as specifics of how it works and how it doesn't and what I can do about it. And that's why I sort of hold up my like waterlogged journal, and I'm like, this is kind of my own personal quest, if you will, is to learn more about this so that I can bring it under more control. So along the way, if I seem to be diving into books and diving into other magic users and stuff, it's not necessarily because it's my favorite hobby or my highest interest. It's because I'm trying to make it so that I don't unintentionally hurt anyone with this.
An admirable goal, I will say. And I sort of snap the journal shut and like tuck it back in my armor and stand up and like walk over and like place my big clawed hand on your shoulder, and I'll just say, like, as today may have proven, I'm not always best at words as much as my brute force. A personal weakness.
That was a hell of a slap, man.
I thank you for reminding
Your
me.
hand's huge.
As
I look over my shoulder at this giant claw.
Even though my own personal weaknesses are not as on display as yours, we all struggle in certain areas. And what I can tell you is I'm not afraid of you or your abilities. And whether that is a cold comfort or any sort of encouragement, like I said, not the best at the words myself, but I will promise you that I will help you to at least try calm those storms inside you.
Thank you. That means a lot. I haven't had anyone to really confide in about this in a while, so I really, really appreciate it. At the very least, you know. So if you see some crazy shit happening, you know it's probably not on purpose.
I certainly know what it's like to be in a place where you do not exactly feel in the proper place in life.
Like when you were dead?
In different places, to not give you an entire dump of my personal life. My parents aren't lizard folk like myself.
What?
I was adopted by a very kind pair of halfling bakers.
Really?
They knew how to cook a muffin
Can I see if
better
he's
than
lying?
anyone else. Yeah. I'm just wistfully staring out the window.
I kind of like squint my eyes at him. Like, not that he's ever given me a reason to not trust him, but that just sounds so...
Why don't you roll perception?
I mean, neither of us have given you a reason not to.
15?
Doesn't seem so. I mean, Renister seems like a very straight shooter.
Yeah.
So you feel...
That's why it caught me off guard even more. Like, if I heard that from Phosphorus, I'd be like, yeah, of course, I'm halfling bakers. But I heard that and I was like, oh. So yeah, I'm just kind of like, really?
I used to make a mean croissant in my youth.
You grew up around halflings? Was it
Yes.
in like a halfling village?
No, it was in my home city.
Okay, so you weren't...
Wakuzana.
Okay. You weren't only amongst halflings. That's fascinating.
But was not really around lizard folk too often. Occasionally one would, pop their head in the city with just travelers and whatnot.
Interesting.
Yeah, you would have known no lizard folk that lived there. Definitely, you would have seen plenty moving through there as sailors or mercenaries or all sorts of things that go through a city of that size. But yeah, you would have not have been around them in like a living day to day, so to speak.
But so as I grew, I went from punching dough to, well, these arms have
punching mites.
A little bigger than that, but same purpose, to quell some ruffians in my city. But
well, Renist here. If you remember any of those skills along the way, we should get some baking supplies and see if we can make some croissants for the whole.
I'm a little rusty. I could always try.
Come on.
Okay. I'll give it a try sometime. But
wow.
My point is that I may not understand in full what you are going through, but I have at least a small glimpse of what it's like to be, fish out of water or lizard man in a city.
That brings me some comfort. It's nice to know I'm not the only one drawing in eyes.
And as much as I give him, I'll never tell him I told you this. Never.
As your grip tightens on my shoulder, I'm like, okay, yeah, sure.
My
You can tell me
hardness
anything.
on the rat comes from a place of concern. I see that he is a very intelligent creature with much potential, and I think pointed in the right direction, he could achieve great things or be the downfall of us all. But
Yeah,
it really can just depend.
He has some talents, and of those talents, involves a lot of burned flesh and destruction. But pointed in the right direction, like a cannon off a ship.
Exactly.
Very much. I don't know if there's cannons in this world actually, so I shouldn't
Sure,
say
there
that.
definitely are.
Yeah, like all those cannons I've seen on all those ships.
It's
Point
more
them in the
your
right
area of
direction,
expertise.
right tool for the right job.
Exactly. And Cannon is a very apt comparison, I would say. But
Well, as you're getting rainwater like slapped across your face a little bit, standing this close, I'm like, well, I'm probably gonna turn in for the night. But thanks for checking in. Like I said, if you don't hesitate to ask if you see anything weird magically happening around me. But are you good? You don't have any strange magical surprises that are gonna happen to you and affect us or anything?
no, nothing along those lines. Thankfully, the blessings bestowed upon me did not come with any drawbacks to my understanding, but I mean, I am also not just a lizard person, so that also comes with its own
That's true.
list of variables.
That's so cool that you got it like bestowed upon you. I didn't ask for this. It just happened. It's
Well,
just there.
I didn't ask for that part of me.
Oh, okay.
I happened to die at the time, so I
Yeah,
didn't really have
you can
much
really
of a
ask
choice
for a
in
lot
that.
when you're
Yeah.
a cold corpse.
Take what you can get.
Yeah.
But
Well, anyway, I'm
will
gonna.
get out of your wet hair and
gonna-
let you have a good night here. But once again,
I need to
you're-
wrap my sheets in plastic.
You're yes, I can see your bed looks like.
I need to get more of that
phosphorus
oil
after
to just put
nightmares.
all over everything I own.
Certainly.
All right. Well, thanks for checking in, man. Tell
sir.
Phosphorus hello, and don't worry, your
Probably won't
secret's safe with me.
talk. Same to you. Although secret is. Well, never mind. Have a good night.
Night. Close
Walk
the
out.
door.
Anything else you guys want to do before downtime?
I'm getting fucking hammered.
I'd probably go do my prayers at the chapel.
Why don't you do a
How many drinks
diplomacy
you
check
buying,
for
boy?
me? Phosphorus, yes. To see.
Oh, I can make my own alcohol.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Never mind. You don't have to pay for it, huh?
Quick
You're just
alcohol,
drinking it.
baby.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're
yeah,
the
yeah.
asshole who brings
Is there a
his
no
own drinks
outside
into
food
the
or
bar?
beverages sign?
No,
Definitely not,
I
no.
just reached in my pocket, pull out like a bottle, and start chugging.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, how downtime works. And now we come to our first solid chunk of downtime. Almost always between levels, and sometimes during them, our party will have a chunk of days to do some more long-form activities. This chunk is 5 days long, and just like before, I'll give you a summary of the important bits. Let's start with Phosphorus, who chose to spend his time working at the Arcane Assembly Hall, helping out with all sorts of odd jobs, one of which was headed by Vip, a kobold with a knack for outside-of-the-box problem-solving and a veteran member of the Quarry Assembly Hall. Vip took a liking to Phosphorus and gifted him his old snare recipe book. The designs in it were easily replicated by Phosphorus. It even sparked self-reflection and improvements in his own designs, with him completely reworking all his bombs into a much more lightweight, compact package. Renestier spent his days at the chapel after Kuhara requested his help adding to and double-checking their works onto Zetios. As one of the more popular gods, and with none of the priests or priestesses working there worshipping them, Renestier served as a breadth of knowledge for the chapel's collection of tomes and texts. While there, Renestier stumbled upon some obscure scripture referencing clerics who cloak themselves with divine magic to ward away harm. This sparked an idea, with Renestier spending his evenings manifesting Lady Justice internally, until she could fortify his body and spirit, in addition to his normal physical upkeep and combat drills. Eamon went to Tajima and accepted her invitation to help at the clinic, spending his days assisting Fionn with mostly his magic and sometimes his medical abilities. Tajima also gave him some basic workouts after Eamon expressed his frustration with how physically weak he felt. They were focused on flexibility and agility, as she stated, "You've got the body for it, just gotta work it till it moves how you want." When he wasn't at the clinic or doing workouts, he was with Yinhi, working on his magical control. With her help, the constant use of magic for the first time in years, and some remembering of his old mentor's teachings, he was able to manifest his magic in some brand new ways. And with that, 5 days have gone, and our party has grown stronger. And it's a good thing too, as a trio of missing children's fates are about to be placed in the hands of our group, and by the captain of the guard, no less. But more on that next episode of Dying 5. If you enjoyed today's episode, consider leaving us a review on whatever platform you listen on. We'd love to hear your feedback. And if anyone in your life just can't get enough tabletop RPG action, send them our way. If tabletops have taught me anything, it's that good stories become great ones when you have some folks to share them with. And as always, thanks for listening.